The summer months bring plenty of fun adventures and activities. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office says fun activities need to be done safely. And so one of the biggest summer activities we see: boating, wakeboarding, other water activities. Sheriff Sam Page says life jackets should always be within reach on the water.
You need to make sure that if you're water skiing or you're boating or whatever, or wakeboarding, just make sure that you have a personal flotation device, wearing a personal flotation device. So if you splash in the water, you float. And it's very important. This can be a life-saving piece of equipment right here.
Sheriff Page also shared another life-saving piece of equipment if someone goes overboard.
Also, something nice to have on board your boats here is your throw bag here. And this bag right here basically it's about a 50-foot bag. So if somebody is needing assistance and stuff, you can throw it to them. You can pitch it to them, okay? And then you can help get them back in and stuff like this. Because the most dangerous thing you can do is jump right in the water if you're not trained to do so.
All right, so that's water activities. There are plenty of other summer things that can lead to some common injuries. So we're joined by Dr. Hunter Slemp of Novant Health Forsyth Pediatrics. All right, let's talk about this. A lot of us are going to be riding our bikes. I mean, that's what summer is for, right? So let's talk about the bike riding, the playground, fun, that kind of stuff. Kids fall. They sprain something, maybe they fracture something. How do we know when it's something that is serious?
Yeah, it's a great question. We think of summer season as swim season, but we also think of it as fracture season. And typically what I have parents look out for is, immediate swelling, obvious deformity, or it looks different, in shape, or, just inability to use it altogether. If the pain is 10 out of 10, they need care. They need to be seen either for an x-ray or to evaluate it.
And I know a lot of parents out there are like, but I have a dramatic child, right? So everything is 10 out of 10. Are there other signs like certain kinds of swelling or something like that that we should be looking out for?
Well, I go back to, if there's like obvious deformity, absolutely you need to be seen. And then, swelling, if it's pretty significant, it's a good idea to take your child into the doctor to be seen or at urgent care. If you know your kid and you get your mommy instincts or dad instincts are like, we can wait on this one. It's okay in a lot of cases to monitor and see how things progress over the course of an hour or two. If that swelling's getting dramatic or his condition's not improving, it's a good idea to go ahead and get seen.
Yeah, when kids fall and they bump and that kind of stuff, should we be putting ice on them? And is that like the regular like home remedy kind of thing?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with ice, trying to elevate it to help with swelling and trying to, if possible, avoid using it, especially if there's significant trauma to the area. Avoiding use can often help it not get worse.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to like the campfires, the fireworks, the s'more times. We love all those kinds of things. Of course, we can prevent burns. So let's talk about maybe some things that we can do to prevent ahead of time that maybe we don't think about. And then what do we do if for some reason someone gets burned?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's interesting about campfire in those settings is we kind of all have in mind like the open flame, during the campfire is we need to be careful, and it's a good idea to have like a kid-free zone when you're doing things like cookouts and those things, but we all see the flame and we know, okay, we can avoid that and tend to be kind of higher alert, but most of those burns come after we're done cooking, and so I tell parents to look out for the cooking grate when the food's off, because kids, it's still going to be hot and kids might be curious. I tell parents to look out for the coals after the campfire is gone, because a lot of times they can trap heat for hours, and a kid walking across a campfire that doesn't look hot, they can result in some pretty severe burns. And when you do encounter a burn, I tell people skip the ice and definitely skip mayonnaise or butter or whatever home remedy you guys might have heard of. In general, we recommend cool water, and cover it with non-adhesive bandage or gauze. Burns to the hands, the face, across joint lines or feet, they need to be seen because they can result in kind of more gnarly complications.
Okay, we got about a minute left. I want to ask you about stings because I got stung by a wasp or a hornet or something the other day, and it swelled up and boy was it itchy. So what should we do if we get stung?
Yeah, if you get stung, if you think there's a stinger, we always tell people don't try to squeeze the stinger out. Brush it. Take a credit card or an ID and try to brush the surface to ensure that the stinger's out. And then remain calm. Your kid's gonna sense your fear. If you're afraid, try to be calm. Ice or put something cool on it to help with the immediate swelling. If it's itchy, you can try some over the counter cortisone or Benadryl. I always think look at the whole kid. So if you got stung on your foot but you got a rash everywhere, okay, it's probably a good idea to get seen. Certainly if there's any sort of breathing problems or anything like that as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time and your expertise, and hopefully we won't need to use any of those recommendations, right? Hopefully we'll be safe. But you know what? This might be something that you need to send to someone who's about to go camping or something like that. This is going to be in the Two Wants to Know section of our website. Right now, we're going to check out the forecast.